What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Levon could not make it. He's home for the holidays, so good for him. You see him come the new year, but we have a special co-host who's been on here several times. We have Ms. Ieshea Hollins. She is the Chief Information Security Consultant at Direnzic Technology and Consulting LLC, as well as a speaker, trainer, and coach for the Internet Masterclass, Internet O'Clock. Do you know where your children are? And podcaster. Man, you have so many titles. CISO, PMP, soon to be podcast host. Not pump your head up too much, but several more. But I can go on and on, right? So how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much, Ryan. How are you guys doing today?
Excellent.
Doing good. Happy holidays. So make sure you guys are tuning in throughout the week. So Monday and Tuesday, we have our cybersecurity topics. Wednesday, which is this episode, we have our discussion. This one is special with this Miss Ieshea Hollins. Is definitely within her wheelhouse. Thursday, we probably won't have an Ask a CISP. Look forward to that come New Year. I'll probably have some clips that I'll break out. And then Friday, stress this, Friday is everything else. We don't really talk about cyber on Fridays. We talk about news, media, books, movies. Promise no Spider-Man, no Way From Home, spoilers. But that is our time to unwind on the podcast. But definitely tune in for the rest of the week if you're cybersecurity focused. So a little bit of housekeeping. So obviously, we encourage you to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. However, we're taking a holiday break, so everybody can spend that quality family time. So you'll get us up until Christmas Eve, if the episodes go out in time, which I'm trying to ensure they do. And then you won't see us again until January 10th. So we did not go away. In between time, I hope to drop some clips. I don't know if I'll have clips every single day, but we'll sprinkle them out throughout the holiday to keep you guys engaged and what have you. But today's episode is a discussion. We are discussing Meta and its new Instagram changes. So this article comes from Facebook, right? Yeah. So the article comes from Facebook. I'm still trying to get all the names together. So Meta is now the parent company of Facebook and Instagram. And the article is entitled "Raising the Standard for Protecting Teens and Supporting Parents Online." So definitely wanted to get Ms. Hollins on for this episode. This is definitely within her wheelhouse, and just discuss some of the changes and kind of how we see the future going, whether we like it or not, and what have you. So some of the features will include taking a break for like a warning to children and young adults that, hey, you've been on for a while, as well as switching over to private accounts to protect identities and what have you, and then further restrictions for parents to put on accounts just to keep their kids safe. But I've been talking a lot, so without further ado, I had to get your opinions on Meta and what they're doing with Instagram. Start with Shannon.
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm not a social media guy, right? I'm the fuddy-duddy, so I get caught up on YouTube. I start watching, I'll watch videos it's like Michael Jordan or something like that. It'd be his greatest hits, and then I end up watching Foxes or something. Like I don't understand it. You know what I mean? that's my rabbit hole. It's not usually Instagram, but as I look at this article though, it has some good stuff in there. So like if my younger children were on social media like that, it's got some good stuff on there because it talks about how the stuff that you mentioned, how it gives them a notification that they've been on for a certain amount of time. I even saw in there where you can set a time limit actually for them to be on it as well, was listed in the article, which I thought was a good idea. Set a daily time limit is what it says, right? So it says You can only spend this amount of time on Instagram in a day or whatever. Defaulting the accounts to private when they're created, that was another thing, right? So you have these kids, they get excited when they go and create these accounts, right? And they don't necessarily go and look at all the security settings and things like that they should be doing, right? So they just go ahead and say, oh, I got the account, I'm going to go on, I'm going to find this friend, I'm going to find this friend, I'm going to find this friend, because they get so excited. But it's going to automatically default to being a private account. And the other thing they had on here that I thought was kind of cool was for minors, let me make sure I got this right. For minors, I think it said you cannot message them or something like that, right? If they're not already connected to you or something like that. Is that what it said?
Yeah,
Something
you can't DM them.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, I don't know the terminology. See what I'm saying? Thank you, Ieshea. You helping me out. You know what I mean? And the only way I know that is because it's in a song, right? And now it goes down in the DMs apparently. You know what I mean? So, but no, I mean it's a good thing that they're going about doing this, right? Because when you turn the news on, you start seeing all these stories where it comes to children having issues being on social media, whether it be that they've connected with someone they shouldn't have connected with, and they're doing something they shouldn't do, leaving their house to meet people in strange places, or I know just recently, I have one son that's in elementary school. I know on social media it was going around a few days ago about this whole bring a gun to school, or these kids were kind of making light of the school shootings and things like that was going on, right? And on social media, stuff going around. Yeah, they had the stuff going around about people on Friday the 17th bringing guns to school. You know what I mean? So it's things like that where it's like, this is why we need those protections on social media. You know what I mean? You got these kids that think stuff like that is funny. You know what I mean? That's not a joke. There's children out there that lost their lives. I'm not trying to get too serious about that and kind of steer away from the from the cyber aspect of this, but just to go on a little tangent, you know what I mean? Because I have a child that's still in elementary school, and I have one that's attending advanced education. It's older, right? So for me, those are things that I worry about, and these types of things can keep that from happening, right? These protections that they have out there. So I think it's a good thing, even though I'm not on social media like that, and my youngest children aren't on it, but it's good to know this is something that they're looking at for when it comes time for them to actually get an account and get on there. There are some protections in place to keep certain things from happening. You know what I mean? But Ieshea, what's your thoughts on this?
Oh, thank you. Well, Shannon, that was all very, very good. And I actually, much like you, I definitely agree. It was so good to see that they rolled this out. As you were saying, the take the gun to school thing. There are trends that are going on, and our kids that don't know any better, they jump on the trends, and then they, like I said, they want to go and do certain things. And a lot of our parents are not aware of the trends. They don't know what they're looking for. They don't know some of the things that are going on, because there's a disconnect, right? Not knowing or even being able to really monitor your children's pages. And some of us, just don't have the desire to want to, monitor those pages. But I definitely agree. I'm loving that Facebook and Instagram are getting on board with the parental controls, right? If you noticed, a lot of the parental controls that they set up mimic a lot of what TikTok is already doing. So that's when I was going through some of the things that they were doing, I was like, oh, so they see that it's working for TikTok. And so you're bringing that over that. So when you're on TikTok, they'll have literally, if you've been on for too long, there's a guy, sometimes it's a girl that'll pop up and like, hey, have you been on too long? And so it's very, very important, because like I said, as I'm teaching internet safety for our parents, and we're looking at, in a lot of ways, we don't understand what putting those parental controls mean, the time limits mean, the inability to be contacted. Now, I loved that inability to, if you're not already in my network, so therefore you can't jump in my DMs. You actually have to show that there's some relationship there, because just even in our class today, we're talking about online grooming. You have it to where we have full grown adults who are having conversations with these kids, making them believe that they are something that they're not. And or a lot of our social media platforms, because in Facebook's defense, literally, if you weren't a particular age, you weren't allowed to create an account. But we had that our little ones were lying about their ages, right? Creating accounts, getting online, and then therefore a lot of the stuff was falling through the filter because there was no filter to catch them, because technically they weren't the age they said that they were. So sometimes you do have to kind of reverse engineer our kids, right? It's like the reverse psychology. All right, fine, I'll let you on, right? But when I let you on, now you tell me your age, but now we can implement some of these limits. You know, what it was limits, allow, and then limit with allow something. There was another, there was 3 of them. And so I like that once they reach a certain age too, they can go in and you can modify it. A lot of these things we talk about, but we didn't realize how important it was until we start watching the trafficking and, you know, kids coming up missing and all these conversations that your child went to go meet someone, and we can't even quantify who the someone was. And so, yeah, with where we are today, with the amount of our kids that went online, the amount of time that they're now online, I love the fact that they're, you know, taking ownership of that and saying, hey, you know, we recognize that there's a problem and here's a solution. Let's not just talk about that there's a problem. Here's a solution. So I loved it.
Right, definitely. And so I forget who owns what, right? So they don't own TikTok. I forget who owns TikTok.
No.
So it is good that they're mirroring, because I thought it was just a policy that was being pushed over. So I didn't know. I've not been on TikTok in a little while, so I've not seen the person pop up that asks you if you've been on for too long. But it is definitely necessary, because even though they're only 30 seconds to a minute clips, like I've lost 30 minutes. It's like, how many videos did I watch? Like, where did I just go for that long? Yes. So it's definitely good to have that policy. But yeah, kids were lying about their age all the time. Like how many kids were born in 1901 or whatever the oldest oldest number was, right? Because it's just like no one has time for that. And then obviously it locks them out of their accounts and what have you. But now that we're on the subject of teaching parents, like I'd like to shift over to you and your classes, right? So you teach master classes on internet safety. So I know that this is definitely a topic that's come from the past, but more recently, what was one of the topics that you covered with parents?
Oh, that was a good one. So our internet safety masterclass, and what we do is we work with our parents for 4 weeks. They get modules that they can learn on their own. Then they also get step-by-step instructions for how to step through setting up internet safety protocols across various platforms, how to set it up on their routers, how to set it up on Windows and the Mac, how to set it up on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So literally it was step-by-step walking them through. The most recent class that we just wrapped, we talked through what is sexting, sextortion, and online grooming, and what those are, and then how to set up an internet action plan for your family. Like, so how do we have these conversations? And that was the thing that in our class that we were covering, we will talk through, or we'll throw around the terms, right? And it's enough to scare you, right? It's like, oh my goodness. And the thing about my class, or the classes that we teach, and I harp on it almost, I hate to make anybody feel like we're here to scare you, right? We're going to scare you up. And then now nobody really wants to use the technology. No, we don't want you to not use it. We want you to know what's going on. We want you to know the language. So we had a really good class where we talked through the acronyms and those emojis and how they take those acronyms and emojis and had them a whole conversation. And so it was amazing just watching the parents and their reaction because like I give like examples of sentences. And so it's funny first watching the parents try to decipher the sentence, like, what? eggplant.
Yeah.
What?
What's all these eggplants on my screen?
It's the eggplant. Well, my child really likes fruits and vegetables. No, your child does not. Well, no, not the way you think they do, so it was amazing just watching the reaction. And then when you actually told them what the sentence was, and it was like they just blew their minds, and it was like, no, there's no way. I'm like, I'm not playing with you. That was a real sentence. And then the online grooming and sextortion, they're very scary topics. We covered, because the way I like to do it, we're going to talk through real life examples. And so sextortion, of course, as we know, it's being blackmailed. You took a picture or a selfie of yourself and you put it out there. Maybe not so much. Maybe you were all the way, revealed, partially revealed, whatever. Someone has that picture and they're holding it for ransom and they're blackmailing you. And it just continues to grow and continues to grow until you eventually break. And in some cases, the sextortion either leads to where they're taking money from you, they're taking services from you, or in some cases, that's how some of our kids are going missing. Meet me in the park and I'll give you back the thumb drive that has the image on it. And the kids, because they don't want to disappoint mom and dad, they don't want to tell mom and dad. And so that's why in our class, I told we role play. You be the kid today. You be the adult. How do you convince your child to trust you enough to tell you that even if they came and told you, Mom, I sent a naked picture of myself, and somebody's holding it, they shouldn't be more afraid of you than the guy blackmailing them, right? How do we change that? How do we change that in our homes? And then the online grooming, a lot of times they think they're talking to someone that they know. They always think they're talking to somebody that they know. And then it becomes, well, mom and dad will never understand. This is my friend. They just don't get it. And the person, their whole goal, again, it's all about, how to talk to a child's psyche. And it's sad that we have people that their whole goal in their life is to trick somebody to get something that they want, that they shouldn't have, And so, but even in that conversation, we like to talk about online grooming as though it only affects children, but online grooming affects each and every one of us. We're catfished regularly. You have somebody that's going to try to convince you to give you money that you don't deserve to have. Right. Grooming goes so much bigger. And so those were our latest classes that we taught. Really good feedback. They're very, very powerful classes. They really are.
That's awesome. So it'll definitely be in the description because I'm going to ask you for all the social links and what have you. But if somebody was to want to sign up or to see material to sign up for one of your classes, where would they find it?
So on Facebook or on our website, which is Direnzic.com, and go to our training section, and it's going to be Internet Safety Masterclass. And the title of it is, it's Internet O'Clock. Do you know where your children are? And so we have a Facebook group. As a matter of fact, I've created another group where as you can join the classes, but in these classes, I've started the feedback that we're getting. I've created another group where we're just going to give away, internet safety tips, whether you're in my class or not. Just join the Facebook group. And that group, we're calling it Techdemic, where we're erasing the fear and embracing the change. The changes that came from the pandemic to our technology. Erase the fear. Let's have those conversations. And so both are Facebook groups, and you can find us on there, on Instagram, on TikTok, and I think I said Facebook already. YouTube.
Okay, that's on YouTube. There it is. And all these links will be in the description so people can find the content. But I'm glad you brought up that it impacts everybody, right? So when I first arrived overseas, there was a big sextortion campaign that was happening. They were getting adults, like because the majority of the people out here are adults. And it was a just be honest. Like if you thought you were messing with somebody and you sent, an explicit picture or something like that, like just tell us, give us whatever you sent, so that way we can find this person and we can protect you. So if it does come out, at least you let us know beforehand, right? It was more like tell us before somebody else tells us. That's what they were going for, because they were like, yeah, it was a lot of people, like people were actually paying. Like they would get here, they would make a mistake because they thought they met somebody here on site, and that person would give away the phone number to somebody else, right? So someone else had the conversation with the person. They were extorting money out of them, and became, bothersome, because people get, like you said, people get scared, right? They're more scared to tell their, in the case of kids, their parent, but like they're more scared to tell their employer than just, they would just pay the money. You're just like, no, don't pay the money. Just let us know it went down, as long as like you won't get in trouble, unless like, it's Chris Hansen type situation. Then that's a different conversation. But if you thought you're engaging with another adult, it is what it is. So no, I think that's important. I think adults need to know that as well.
So you bringing that up, I have a question for you then, Ieshea. So for children, I can understand them being in that situation, right? Like they don't have the life experience to know not to do something like that, possibly, right? But when it comes to adults, like what Ryan is saying, like, is that normal though? Like adults are like, you have to know that if you put it out there on the internet, like that's it. Like once it leaves you, sometimes they don't even have to leave your device, right? Like these hackers are getting they're getting very good. They're coming into your house to get stuff now. But like you have to understand that once you put it out there, like it is outside of your control. Like, is that a normal thing for adults to not realize that? Have you come across that? I guess is my question.
Shannon, more than you know. Like
Right.
it's kind of like that password thing. We know it, and don't make your password kind of thing. And so we're laughing it off, going, nobody uses password for password anymore. And then you get in and it's like 92% of the passwords are password. Oh my gosh. More than you know. And I agree with you. You would think that as an adult, we would know, okay, don't pass certain images of yourself, don't do certain things. You have more adults who believe that if I send it on Snapchat, it disappeared permanently. Then probably the kids believe that when you put it on Snapchat, it disappears permanently. Like, that's what I'm saying. What I love to give people back is real life examples of stories or cases that we have worked, and you would be amazed. And I mean, just think about it. Ransomware. Ransomware, in a lot of cases, they put something on a person's machine and then threaten them. What is that if not sex? It's extortion. But again, in most cases, it was sextortion, because when they paid, it's because they didn't want you to see some of those images they were looking at, some of their proclivities towards. It's not just that I look at porn, it's the type that I look at, right? It's I want to, and a lot of them, it's in some cases, either you were in a relationship, right? And this real story, in a relationship, married for years, got divorced, got mad during the divorce, and then began to threaten one spouse with, I'm going to expose the pictures that I have of you online, and I'm going to say you were doing X, Y, or Z. How do you defend that? How do you then turn around and say, well, I didn't do what they're accusing me of? Well, then why do they have naked pictures of you? I was married to them forever. Of course they have naked pictures of me. You see what I'm saying? So it's really, and especially when you're dating and on these Tinders and on all these apps, people are sending more than they should of themselves, and then expecting that the person on the receiving end is just going to the honor code. They're gonna delete it. They told me they did. It's gone.
Right.
It's
Right.
not.
That's called It's a revenge porn. So that was a big campaign that was happening in the military. Like
Yes,
there are people, because you were in a relationship with the person.
that's right.
Like you said, you took videos or pictures or whatever, and then when you broke up, they put it out there. Which, what kind of person are you to do that to somebody else? But it was like a thing that was happening. Like people were getting like court-martialed for revenge porn. Like,
Yes. Yes, they actually, so a lot of this stuff, whereas it wasn't a law before, they really are making them laws now. That's what the whole, even with sextortion, they are putting laws and they're putting things behind it. They're now putting up websites that you can turn it in. Some of your social media platforms are allowing you to, if someone puts up a picture, you can report it and they'll scrub and take them down, right? So because it's become so prevalent, they're having to. And in a lot of cases, and that's one of the things that we teach in our class too, you have to be very careful about the age of the person also. So it doesn't matter that a 12-year-old passed a picture of a 12-year-old. It's both looked at as child pornography. And you can be prosecuted I mean that too, for
right.
passing of child pornography, even though it's child to child. And so that's the other thing that we're having those conversations. And it's gotten so bad. Another case, parents passing images of their child across digital platforms, one to the next. It's all innocent in nature, but the second you passed it, you broke the law. And so it's the fact that people are not aware of these things. And so they'll feel like at first, I either don't need your class or who that. And then by the time you come, it's, oh my gosh, what have I been doing? Right. And a lot of it is, you'll be amazed the number of adults.
Yeah.
It's shocking.
That one with the kids, that shook me up. A few years ago, I read an article about somebody that, I mean, I don't know if I want to admit it, you know what I mean? But like, I have pictures of my children like taking baths and whatnot when they were young, right? You got like your first bath picture when they're splashing and stuff like that. And it's like, I can't pass that on to anybody. Be like, I tell my wife, hey, that stays with us. Like, don't send that anywhere.
Right.
There was somebody that got in trouble for that. Like they had to go to court and everything. And it was their own child. And it was pictures of them like just playing in the bathtub. And I'm like, nah, I'm not, you're not getting me for the okie doke. I'm not falling.
Right.
And
Right.
see,
And you see it all
like
the time. I was gonna say, you see it all the time, like with newborn pictures or whatever, like they have them like laying on like a uniform or like a blanket or something like that. But yeah, like that could get you hemmed up.
Yeah. It's stuff like this that I'm so glad that you're saying, because anybody that just took my class that thought, oh, she's just making that up, to hear you say that and that's the part of the problem. It's not being said enough that people understand. So when you hear it, it's like, these are real life cases.
Yeah, and there's the misconception. Like I had someone tell me, like, because they had a picture of their child, and it was innocent. It was like them laying on a uniform or something like that, military type picture. And I was like, I don't know if you like you can frame it up in your house or whatnot, but I don't know if you can share that on social media. And they're like, no, it's in black and white, so it's okay. I was like, does that make a difference? They're like, yeah. It's like, like they're really under that impression because that was something they heard. Like if the picture is in black and white, then it's art as opposed to being considered something else. And it's just not being naive, right? So I was like, no, I don't think that makes a difference. Like you put in sepia if you want to. Like it's still the same image.
That's right.
And unfortunately, it could be misconstrued, right? They don't know that's your child. They don't know, that type of information about you. They just have the metadata. Like they have the image, which we had the whole episode talking about how Apple is going in. They potentially will start scrubbing pictures and trying to find ones that match up through AI to be child pornography or things of that nature.
Yeah.
And just how that's going to hem up a lot of innocent people. So it's like, yeah, I want it because I'm the type of person where like anything that protects children should be okay. But like the bad side of that is how many people will get in trouble who did not know, like it was naive. They're like, no, it's a sepia. It's my kid. Now And now you have problems like Apple, shuts your account down or sends you a nasty letter or something like that. Like, what do you do?
They were listening to those dorm lawyers. That's what I call them, the dorm lawyers. Like all them kids in the dorm, man, they used to say some stuff. I'd be like, hey, that is not right. Like, I'm fairly certain on that, but you should probably go to the legal office to verify what I'm telling you. Like that's not right.
Right. But it was like that when we were teenagers too, right? So like back in the day when they used to go to CVS or Walgreens, develop pictures, they're supposed to keep anything with nudity in it and destroy it. But you would hear stories where you would get your photos back and it'd be missing photos. You'd be like, what happened to this photo? It'd be like, there was something in there, we had to destroy it, but they kept it. You know what I mean? Like that was a thing that used to happen back in the day. It's no different now. It's just easier to do so because no one's developing pictures. Like, unless one of you are, not to be offensive. So somebody's going to Walgreens develop a picture, but for the most part, it's all digital, right? So you just pass it amongst each other. But yeah, no, that's very important. Like I'm interested in definitely viewing one of your classes because how much information do I not know that I could definitely pick up from one of them. I do plan on having that conversation with the kids though, like don't be more afraid of somebody trying to extort you than me. Like you tell me, and then we can figure this out together. But A, they don't have that type of money to be paying somebody extortion, but B, just the I don't want them to be stressed out. You know what I mean? Like how much stress is that on a child to be extorted? Like they didn't even think about that. Like, that could be something like, God forbid that my kids or whatever, but that's someone's kid is being extorted, and their parent has no clue.
Yeah. It's and with most things, you're right. Our kids don't have the money, so it starts small, and then it turns into acts of service, and that's the part where it gets real tricky and it gets real scary,
right?
Because sometimes you're not seeing the overt, or as a parent, they're not asking me for extra money. Like when we were growing up, if the bully was taking your lunch money, then mom and dad had to suddenly lunch doubled in price. Like, why am I paying double for lunch? It's like, because my bully's taking half my sandwich. So now it's not so much. It's no. So if you don't have the money, you have other ways of paying me. And so that's where it gets scary, because they don't really know where to turn, because now something as simple as I sent a picture and I might can explain away. Now I'm having to explain, not only did I give away a picture, but then I've been giving away pieces of me. And more, I'm demoralizing myself. And how do I handle that? It's a lot.
Right. Yeah, so that's definitely a deep topic. When you really think about it, like, that's definitely a conversation, because they're getting older, right? So I have a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old. I need to have that conversation, like, especially when, because I'm the type of parent. I think me and Shannon and Levon talked about this. Like, you have to be my friend on these social accounts, because I need to be able to see. But with the amount of restrictions they could have on it, like, what am I not seeing? You know what I mean? So, just again having that conversation. So it might become an annual thing.
They could be doing you like Kevin Durant. They got burner accounts. You know what I mean? They got that.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Stuff, whatever.
We talk about those too. Those are more common than as well.
Oh man. Now I'm scared. But
don't be scared. Come on to class.
That was not my intention. Yeah, that was not my intention.
Now I'm scared. Appreciate you, Shannon. Now I'm paranoid. How many counts you got? Like, just take their phone. As soon as I walk through the door, just give me your phone.
Hey, that no.
Total invasion of privacy. Just throw it in the street and run away. But no, it's definitely a good conversation. I would definitely like to continue this. Like, I think we need to have another one of these, because it's very insightful. Like, there's some stuff like I didn't even think about. So, and again, like you said, not to make me paranoid, but just to make me informed. That's right. As a parent. So I greatly appreciate that. But to end this segment, again, thank you Ieshea Hollins. We greatly appreciate you having you on the show.
Yeah.
Levon missed out again, but it was flipped the other way. So Shannon missed out last time. But we definitely want to have you on the show again. For all those out there listening, definitely check out episode 111, I believe, was interview with you, as well as you have your own interview on our interview playlist. So check that one out as well. I believe it's like an hour and 20, hour and 30 minutes of great content. So I plan on snipping some of that as well. So I'm not sure exactly what people will get for the holidays, but please, stay tuned. If nothing else, subscribe. And then when we come back on the 10th of January, you'll start to get episodes again, right? So definitely hit up the website, www.theothersideofthefirewall.com, which I promise to do something with in 2022, but it anchors you to all of our social media, so you can get to all of our stuff as it comes out. Like, share, subscribe on our audio. We're on 6 different platforms, as well as video is now YouTube. I break episodes up on LinkedIn, and now we're on Spotify video podcast as well. So you get us on audio or video on Spotify. So that just happened last week. If you're a continued subscriber, now you get us in video. So click that button. And you can hit me up on social medias. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. That's RYRY Security Guy. LinkedIn, IG, TikTok, and Twitter. Levon is Levon Maynard, his full name, on Twitter. And where can we find you, Ieshea?
Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. They're all going to be either Ieshea Hollins, or you can find us at Direnzic, Direnzic, and TikTok and oh my gosh, Instagram.
There you go.
Slide on, do it. It's too much. Too many.
I was like, Okay. Then we have Ieshea Speaks, and so and on Clubhouse.
Okay. Oh yeah, and Clubhouse too. Yeah, I've been forgetting about that one. But yeah, so everything will be in the description. Definitely check out all of Ieshea's content. It's all great. And then just stay tuned. We got more coming next year. So with that being said, stay safe, stay secure.